It was already Saturday morning. It was the second day of the conference. Friday went off without a hitch. Everything was great. And there we are, Saturday morning. Things are going well. And people came out of the morning sessions. The director of the district pulled me aside and said, "Angela, I think we've got a problem. I need your help. We need to solve this right now." And I was ready for some an audio-visual problem, a technical problem. Things were going good. I was feeling great. And he said, "People are really upset that some of the sessions are overlapping. So they can't go to every single session. They want to only have one session at a time. And a handful of people have said that they are going to raise a motion to stop the conference if we don't immediately change the afternoon program today in order to accommodate this expectation."
Welcome to the Public Speaking Show. Here in this video podcast, we see and explore different ways we can improve our public speaking skills and our leadership skills. If there is one organization that can help you to improve your public speaking skills, is Toastmasters International. If there is an organization that can help you to improve your leadership skills, is Toastmasters International. Today, on this episode, we have a long-standing member of Toastmasters International, Angela Scott. She is not only Distinguished Toastmaster, she's been division director, she's been conference director, she's been area director, and she's founding member of Liverpool City Toastmasters Club. Hello, Angela.
Hey, Julian, how are you?
Fine, fine. What is the biggest challenge you have faced at Toastmasters International?
I think the biggest challenge that I faced was when we were planning the Manchester conference in 2017. Yeah, that was already 3 years ago now. But we put forward a bid to host the conference, the May conference in Manchester, and these bids are put forward a year and a half ahead of time, and then they take over a year to plan. So even though it seemed like a really daunting proposal, I was happy to raise my hand and get involved because actually I had previous experience planning conferences for international delegates and over 1,200 attendees. So to put on a local conference for about 300 people seemed absolutely like something that I would be able to help with. And I also had a personal goal at the time of taking on a community project as project manager because I'm a member, or I'm not, sorry, I need to take that back. I have my project management professional certificate. And if you're familiar with these certifications, you have to have continuing education, but also direct hands-on experience demonstrated in order to renew your certification every several years. So I was coming up on that renewal period, and I knew without a doubt, if I take on the project management for this, I'll be able to take skills I've used in the past and apply them to an organization that I really enjoy. And also I'll be serving myself in getting some more leadership expertise and getting some more networking opportunities, and also just keeping my own certification current. So I really like to be multitasking, but in a focused way. So by doing this one thing, I was ticking just a lot of boxes. So I was really happy to raise my hand and be involved. And right after the bid was approved, the individual who was the driving force behind us making the bid moved out of the area and was no longer able to be the conference director. So at that point, somebody asked me, do you want to become the conference director? And I was like, no, I'm here to do my project management piece. I will be the best project manager you've ever had, I promise. But somebody else, please be the figurehead, because I want to be able to focus on this piece that I wanted to do in the project management piece. And that was just the first indicator that it was not going to be a smooth ride. Things escalated over time.
Okay, we will go to that a bit later. I see that you have plenty of awards in Toastmasters International. What is the one that makes you feel most proud?
Oh gosh, I have to think about this. I think for me, when I was a division director, I was most proud that as division director, we were able to achieve a President's Distinguished Division. And in that process, in that year, I was able to support growing areas and clubs so that by the end of the year, we were able to create a new area. And having created a new area, we were able to make a new division. So what that meant for me and what it meant for the members is that's one more area that can send more contestants to their area contest and get more members participating, because now there's that rule that if you have less than 4 clubs, or if you have 4 clubs or less, you can send 2 contestants on. So I was really happy to have, be able to give people that opportunity. But also, when I took on the division, it stretched all the way from Newcastle upon Tyne all the way down to Birmingham, which, for me at the time, that was great because I was new to the UK and I was looking for any excuse to go travel around and visit all of these cities that I had heard of. So for me, that was great, but what really made it difficult to try to find somebody for a successor, because they would look at the area and say, I don't have time to do all this traveling. It's a lot to ask. So my gift to the next division directors was, I'm taking this job that used to be 1 person and I'm giving it to 2 people. So now it should be a little bit less daunting, and, and also the benefits for the members. So to be able to do that and help support that change and be a President's Distinguished Division, for me, that was a great success.
How many years have you been member of Toastmasters?
I have been a member of Toastmasters since 2008.
All right. And
so it's been a while.
in all this time, have you felt that as a woman, you have less opportunities than otherwise if you were a man?
Absolutely not. At no point have I ever felt that, that kind of like patronizing bit, absolutely not. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite.
It's good I'm asking you, because I'm speaking with a lot of women in Toastmasters International, and some of them think the same way as you do. Others, they have pointed out that it is true that there is an old school. As you know, Toastmasters International originally was only for men. It was only, if I not remember wrong, in 1970s when they start opening up to women, and there are still some areas, some clubs, some old school mentality out there. Now, we're going to move into what I call the grill. In this part, I'm going to ask Angela in 1 minute as many questions as I can come up with, and she will have to answer in 1 or 2 words very quickly. The idea of this is to put her at ease, to allow the audience to know Angela a bit better, and maybe to have a laugh or 2. So let's go. What is your favorite color?
Purple.
What is your favorite Walt Disney character?
Disney character? Maleficent.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Chocolate or strawberries?
Strawberries.
UK or the States?
Ooh, the States. Sorry.
Favorite part of the planet? Favorite part of the planet?
The Amazon rainforest.
Apart from Liverpool City Toastmasters Club, what is the best Toastmaster club in the world?
Well, apart from Liverpool City, I would have to say Pips. Pips was the first club that I joined, where my mentors, Carol Henry and Vince Brock, and Mike Lee, all got me ready and helped me overcome my fear of saying my own name in front of strangers.
Okay, Angela, that's only one word, no a
Oh,
paragraph. But that's good, that's good. Where is this club from? Where is based?
So this club is based in Downers Grove, Illinois,
Okay,
and
fantastic.
they're a lunch club, yeah.
Are women better speakers than men
No,
and leaders?
no, I think anybody who puts their mind to it can be a good speaker or a leader. It's a choice that you make.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Angela, let's move to a problem I have. My club, Manchester Communicators, is a young club. It's gonna come to 1 year anniversary in August. And we are 45 members, but there are only 27% women and 63% men. And despite we are trying everything possible to bring more women into the club, we are failing to that. What are your suggestions to bring more women into the club?
I would first look at where you're advertising and how you're advertising. Remember that the most powerful marketing is word of mouth. So, guys' best friends tend to be guys, and women's best friends are often other women. So unless you get outside of marketing by word of mouth, you're unlikely to pull in any kind of different demographic from what you already have. Because as they say, birds of a feather flock together. So probably what you would be well served to do is try to figure out what type of community have you not tapped into at all, and then go for that.
The idea we have is that if we put a president, a lady president, whoever woman comes into the club will see a president and might feel identified with her. The idea I have with this video podcast is to show women in Toastmasters that have done great things for the organization and for themselves, and hopefully inspire other women to say, if they have done it, I can do it. So let's go. But we are still lagging behind. In the world is 52% women. I know clubs that they are all women, that they have the opposite problem.
Yeah.
They cannot bring men, and the men that they have, they are scared to speak in front of the audience. I cannot blame them. Okay, let me ask you one question. In your opinion, what do women bring to the table when we speak about leadership that men don't have?
Well, the first thing that I have to say is whenever we talk about the differences between men and women, I think it's really important to remember that there's a lot more overlap than there are differences. So when we're talking about the differences, or that women tend to be or men tend to be, we're really talking about the tail end of a distribution. So I just want to say that, because some people tend to take it the wrong way and take things to extremes. But what I will say is I think that women have a tendency to avoid conflict. And I've really noticed that, even between the States and the UK, in the States, people are really direct. And now that I've been in the UK, I look back at my stateside counterparts and I realize how that could come across as rude if it's not what you're used to. And I think that women tend to avoid conflict, whereas men may see conflict as just a robust exchange of ideas. And particularly because Toastmasters is a volunteer organization, it's really good to be able to build up the skill of influencing people to take action when you don't have direct authority over them. And certainly, thinking about putting on something like the Manchester Conference, if you can't influence somebody that you don't have formal authority over in order to do something, you're not going to be able to take a volunteer project and drive it through the execution and completion. It's one thing to have an idea, but if you can't get the other people to see why it's in their best interest to support you in their idea without being the person who hands them a paycheck, then you're not really motivating them from the heart. And that's one thing that I think I see women do really, really well, is to lead with inherent motivation and not always rely on a formal authority or hierarchy in order to convince people to do things.
Now, let's change completely the conversation. What is a distinguished Toastmaster?
A distinguished Toastmaster is somebody who has voluntarily put before themselves a lot of work and sweat and sometimes tears in order to develop themselves and develop their own speaking skills, but also primarily their leadership skills.
Is a goal worth to pursue?
It depends on what you're trying to achieve. When I first joined Toastmasters, my goal was to be able to sit in a meeting and be able to introduce myself and get my own name right, because I was so terrified of speaking to people. If somebody had said to me in that first month that I was just trying to survive table topics without melting into a puddle, in 10 years' time, if you keep doing this, you'll be a distinguished Toastmaster. You'll be able to do this, and started listing off all the things that I've achieved to date, I probably would have run away in tears, because it would have seemed such an unachievable and unrealistic expectation for me. But of course, the proof is in the pudding. Here I am now, over 10 years later, distinguished Toastmaster. But once you find your voice and you realize that you can actually put together a very coherent argument and persuade people to see things from your point of view, even if in the end they don't take the actions that you want them to take, they at least understand where you're coming from, and you've built up that relationship where you can be brutally honest with people and come to an agreement. Like, once you realize the power that your voice can have, it just feels so natural to continue down that leadership path and take responsibility for making things better and building things up for others.
So many years in Toastmasters, what keeps you coming back?
It's the people. And actually seeing people succeed. I realized maybe my second or third year in Toastmasters, I realized I had achieved my immediate goal in joining. I could speak up in meetings, and I was getting to the point where I really was having a hard time shutting up and letting the meeting proceed. But I realized that by taking on a role as a club officer, I could help accelerate other people's learning. And being able to take my knowledge and pass it on to somebody else, first of all, an amazing thing happens when you teach somebody else, is you actually learn to understand the material in a better way, because you have to organize your thoughts. But also, being able to support somebody else is just a really great feeling. And if somebody hasn't had the opportunity of, seeing somebody grow and achieve their own goal and see the smile on their face when they finally get it, that first time that they stand up and they sit down and they say, I actually felt good about that while I was up there, or the first time that they give a table topic, they sit down and they can remember what happened when they were on the stage instead of blanking out and just kind of freezing. It's so great to be able to help people. So once I took on a role as a club officer, it was really hard actually to start saying no, because I need to focus on this or the other thing. Because why? You realize how much the organization has helped you. You want to give something back. And I think that's just a natural human thing. So seeing people grow and seeing that I can still help people make an impact and achieve their goals is, keeps me in that leadership track.
Now, at the beginning of the speech, of the interview, you were commenting about a problem you had. And I would like you to tell me what is all about. What happened on the second day when people, threatened with walk out and stop the conference?
I have to say, there were quite a few hurdles that we had along the way. And some of them were predictable. You have people who volunteer to do something and then they disappear. And it's frustrating, to be sure, but it's pretty normal. And it doesn't just happen in volunteer. That can even happen with people who are paid to be doing the job, that they don't quite deliver on what they were meant to. But this one really threw me. That one, I have to say, I was not prepared for. But I was really, really fortunate because the district director at the time was very understanding, and we had worked together for a while on the conference by that time, and he knew exactly what my feelings would be on the subject. I'm very much a planner. We had agreed to the plan. You stick to the plan and you stick to the plan. So I was really not happy about this, and we had a couple of words where I was kind of saying, so you're going to let 5 people hold up the conference for the sake of, but in the end, I did say, I've been in this country for 2 years, whole 2 years. You know your constituents better than I do. You tell me, what would you like to see happen? And then I will figure out a way to make it happen. And so we talked about what the concern was, what really needed to change, kind of got down to the heart of like what happened. And I had to just put my feelings aside on this one. And really that's a leadership quality that everybody has to do, because since then, I have since run into occasions at work where a plan is a beautiful plan, but as they say, no plan survives contact with reality.
That's true.
So, and the other phrase I've learned is never underestimate the power of a senior leader to completely veto everything you just decided in consensus.
Right.
So, sometimes you just have to say, fine, tell me what you need and we're going to do it. So fortunately, I did have that skill set in my back pocket of what happens when you're at a conference and suddenly something happens beyond your control and you have to change the program. That part, at least, I had experience doing. So I said, fine. Force majeure, doesn't matter that these are individuals that I could go talk to and ask them what's going on in their head. Let's just say, what would I have to do if the conference room flooded? I would be doing the same thing, right? So I knew what I had to do. I knew how to use, some other tools in order to make everybody know that the program had been changed. We put up a couple of flip charts saying program change, here are the program changes. We did the announcements. And for everybody who was a member, just an attendee of the conference, they just thought, oh, something happened, there's a change, we go here now. I'm not going this way now. And everybody just kind of flowed with it. And it was only, myself, the conference director, and the district director, and those handful of agitators that really knew a decision had been made and there was a bit of a kerfuffle. But we were able to keep that, below the water and maintain a great conference for all of the attendees.
If you had to pick a challenge in Toastmasters or a project that you would recommend to everybody, what that would be?
My challenge to all of the Toastmasters out there who might be listening and wondering this sounds cool, but I don't really know how to get started. The first thing to do is take advantage right now of the lockdown, because clubs all over the world have now gone online. And once you visit 2 or 3 clubs outside of your home club, you are going to realize how diverse Toastmasters is, and you are going to get some experience talking to people outside of your home club. And this is going to do 2 things for you. First of all, you're going to get feedback from a brand new audience. And seeing that diversity of feedback will really help you craft your speeches and your presentations to appeal to a more diverse group. And the second thing you'll see is how they run their meetings slightly differently. You'll see their general evaluator takes on a slightly different role. And this is going to give you some great ideas on how you can further tailor your home club to meet the needs of your members. And then finally, I mean, a well-run Toastmasters meeting is a good time in and of itself. Since you can't get out of the house to have a great time, you may as well find a way to have a great time from your home. So I would really encourage you to take advantage of those. Try to find some of the humorous speaking contests coming up in August and September. Those I am really looking forward to attending. Those are guaranteed to be some fun video calls.
Angela, I think we are on the same wavelength. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.